Hello everyone, I greet you in the name of God Almighty. My name is Apostle Nathan Silas, and today we have a very interesting video to react to by Douglas Murray. And then he says that I try to warn you, Douglas Murray, leave Muslims speechless with a fact. I believe that this is going to be a very interesting video. So if today happens to be the first time of you checking out my channel, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on my Facebook and Instagram. So without any further ado, let's get down to this video and check this out.
Frank about it, and we cannot avoid things just because they are unpleasant. And if there were one thing I would wish Muslims in Europe could learn today, as fast as possible, it would be this.
Douglas Murray has never been one to shy away from hard topics. In this video, he addresses the often neglected topic of Islamic integration in the West, the relationship between Islam, Europe, and the broader challenges of immigration and integration. Douglas Murray has been warning us of mass immigration and the integration of Muslims in the West. Douglas Murray did not hold back.
Thank you very much. Tariq says that Europeans associate Islam with violence. There is some truth in that. There is also a very obvious reason for that, which is that Islam is associated with violence. It was not Buddhists who flew planes into the Twin Towers. It was not Hindus or Jews that blew up the London Underground in buses a few years ago. And that simple fact has to be acknowledged if you're even going to start a dialogue. Now, what is happening, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a pantomime. I'd argue that Europe has done not too badly, considering the circumstances. In the middle of the last century, there was an almost negligible Muslim presence in Europe. At the turn of the 21st, in Western Europe alone, there were 15 to 17 million Muslims. That's a very fast migration, ladies and gentlemen, one of the fastest in human history. And no society would find it easy to deal with that kind of migration. As it happens, European societies, Western European societies have, I think, dealt with this much better than some would. Certainly, Muslims coming to live in Britain and in Western Europe enjoy more rights and better rights, among them freedom of worship, than they do in any Islamic country in the earth here today. We do have a problem. We have a problem when the failures of Islam throughout the world, the failures of all Islamic societies, come here into Britain. Their intolerance of freedom of conscience, their intolerance of apostates, their intolerance of freedom of expression and freedom of speech, their intolerance of minorities, other religious minorities, sexual minorities, their intolerance of gays, their dislike and distrust of half of the population, women, and many, many other things. And the call, what's more, for a parallel legal system within Britain and European societies. This is monstrous. No other group behaves like this, asks for parallel laws. This is a fundamental problem, and it's one we're going to have to deal with. It's a problem between a society, Western Europe, that believes that laws are based on reason, and Islam that believes that they are based on revelation. Between these two ideas, I'm not sure there is very much compromise for Europe. It is not Europe that has let down its Muslims, but the Muslims of Europe that have let down Europe. This is not solely something which we have to say we can never reconcile. Of course we can reconcile this, but we need to be honest about it. We need to be frank about it, and we cannot avoid things just because they are unpleasant. And if there were one thing I would wish Muslims in Europe could learn today, as fast as possible, it would be this: that you have no right in this society not to be offended. You have no right to say that because you don't like something, you can commit violence, or you would like something to be stopped or censored. You have no right to have more hate laws or hate crime laws or hate speech laws just to defend Islam. You have to realize, the Muslims of Europe have to realize, that a society in which even your deepest feelings can be trodden upon is the only society worth living in. And the sooner we can learn that, the sooner that Islam can learn that within Europe, the better. It is not Europe that has failed its Muslims. It is Islam that has failed Europe. I'd argue Islam has failed its Muslims. Thank you.
Douglas Murray's assertion that Islamic extremism is a problem imported into Europe, stemming directly from the religion's radical elements, necessitates a deeper exploration. Murray's viewpoint challenges us to differentiate between the peaceful majority of Muslims and the actions of a radicalized minority. This distinction is crucial in crafting effective counterterrorism strategies that do not alienate the broader Muslim community, yet are robust enough to address the threat of extremism. Statistical insights shed light on the complex nature of this issue, with several attacks and thwarted plots reported annually. However, these actions are perpetrated by a very small fraction of the Muslim population in Europe. This data underscores Murray's point about the need for a nuanced understanding of Islamic extremism, recognizing it as an ideological aberration rather than a reflection of Islam as a whole. Experts like Mayajid Nawaz, a former Islamist turned counter-extremism activist, echo Murray's sentiments. Nawaz advocates for a liberal reform within Islam and the importance of confronting and discrediting extremist ideologies. His work emphasizes the role of ideological narratives in radicalization processes and the necessity of counter-narratives to challenge and replace them. By engaging with moderate Muslim voices and reformers, Europe can find allies within the Muslim community to combat extremism effectively.
Wow, that's a very interesting video listening to Douglas Murray, because as I listened to him, I became very speechless too. It's not really about the Muslim, but then when he makes his own point clear, and then he says that it's not Europe that have actually failed the Muslim, but it is the Muslim who have failed Europe. The truth about it is, as far as there is immigration, there will always be a problem when it comes to integration into society, because the whole truth is people always go or migrate to other nations, and then they also have their own value system and cultural belief system. So when they migrate to another country, sometimes they want to maintain, you understand, their culture, and then some certain things they'll try to integrate. But then when you look at it, understand, in the aspect of Islam, of course, it has its own, understand, belief system, who have no tolerance when it comes to this gay right and then all those things. But then for one thing I could advise or say maybe to the Muslim who find themselves, understand, in Europe, because different situation or circumstances could make you find yourself, understand, in Europe, is that first you have to understand their value system, the value system and the culture of the European. If you understand that, then find a way of practicing, understand, your own, understand, religion without necessarily or actually interfering with what they do, as far as they do not force you to worship or to do what they do when it comes to the gay right or all those things. As far as they do not force you, then you don't have to try to impose your own, understand, religion to them. So what you can only do is that practice your own religion, let them practice whatever they practice. But when you return back to your own country, of course, you can do it, understand, according to how the laws and the values of your own country, you understand, is, so that therefore there will be peace, you understand, in between, you understand, the people living in Europe. But immediately you come with your own culture, and then you don't want to integrate to DS, which I believe that they will not force you to integrate into DS, and then therefore you try to impose yours, or feels like because you are there, and then therefore people have to live in according to how you do your thing. You see, that one, in a sense, will end up, in a sense, generating problems, and that's why there are problems, in a sense, currently happening. And we are just using, in a sense, Britain as an example, because you don't expect, in a sense, people who have migrated, and we are talking about people reading in millions, just like how Douglas was talking about people of over 7 million we are talking about here. So it's actually, in a sense, huge amount of number. But then if there's an issue of intolerance, you know, in between these people in integrating into the British or the European, you know, culture, then what do? Then it means that the government need to do something when it comes to what immigration. Because if people come and they don't want to respect our values, they don't want to respect, you know, our culture, then they should be able to at least do something when it comes to that, instead of keep allowing people, you know, to enter your own country, and then they want to practice this and how it's supposed to be. So for me, I feel like once you are there, try to obey, you understand, whatever that they do there, but then try not to compromise your own religion, as far as they do not force you from doing whatever, you understand, they do in their own country. I think that can be able to bring peace and then harmony in between these people. I think that that's my own, in a sense, solution to it. But then I think that Douglas Murray needs to contest for the British Prime Minister. I cannot wait. I think I will support him. It's not that I am Islamophobic or I am not Islamophobic, but then I think that he's saying things, you understand, that they are true. These are just the reality, you understand, on grounds. All right, so this is the end of my video. If you like my reaction, you should like, share and subscribe. If you have any video you want me to react to, don't forget to drop it at the comment section and I'm going to check it out. So guys, you remain blessed, and I see you in my next video. Bye bye.